welcome to day 2 of our Work From Anywhere Escape Plan Challenge. I'm Esther, founder of Virtual Assistant Internship, and we are helping you to create your escape plan from whatever's holding you back from being able to work from home or work remotely or work from wherever you want in the world. I currently live in Bali. I told you a little bit about my story on day 1, and I'm not going to go back into it, but I do want to encourage you to go to day 1 if you haven't watched it yet, and make sure you have the workbook, because we already planned out what our ideal day is, and now we're going to be building on that. And that's how this works. So it's fine if you get behind a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but you definitely want to make sure that you're catching up if you do get behind, and not just skip to day 3 or something like that, okay? Because every day we build up until we have your plan done. Okay, so yesterday we talked about your ideal day, and we tried to craft a plan of what success actually looks like to you. I told you what my day was like and how I've made that into reality. Then we helped you kind of bridge the gap between the two, and we started to dive a little bit into money. Okay, so today we're going to go more into money. Woohoo! We are on, I believe it's page 4 of your workbook, where it says day 2 plan. So today we're planning your escape, okay? So we're going to get really, really practical, and this is actually going to go a bit quick, okay, quicker than yesterday. So first, I want you to start to think, when you looked at your plan from yesterday, how many hours did you want to work per day in your dreamy life? So for me, it was 6 hours. How much for you? There is no right or wrong, okay? If you want your kids to be in daycare and you want to work 9 hours a day, it's fine. If you don't want your kids to be in daycare and you just want to work during the mornings and maybe once your husband gets home, fine. It doesn't matter. No one's judging you, okay? You do whatever you want to do. I felt really guilty that I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom more, but I love working. I love my business, and my son loves to be with friends all day. He doesn't like being home alone with me. Even though we love each other, we're really close. So he's always gone for at least 6 to 7 hours a day. He's so happy. Mommy's happy. And then at night, we have all this time together, and on the weekends, because I've designed my life in a way that when mommy's home, I'm home. I'm not running around doing errands and chores. I'm home. And so that's enough for us, and that's fine. So no one's judging you. Do what you want to do. How many hours do you want to work per day? And then I want you to build on that and be like, okay, well, how many hours per week? And this is just on average. So think, too, if you sorry, I'm trying to talk to people who have kids, because I think for a lot of us it's impractical. If you don't have kids, that's you have more time. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just trying to also think of y'all. Tuesdays and Thursdays is the day you have childcare, so maybe you can work more that week. So maybe that's your 8-hour day. And then maybe Mondays and Wednesdays you only work 2 hours, whatever. So total that up and put that in the week section, okay? We're on the left side of the workbook. So we know about how many on each day, and then about how many each week. And I'm going to use our example. I'm going to do 20 hours a week, okay? 20 hours a week is pretty doable. It's a little bit less than 5 hours a day, and I did that when my son was home with me. I did it before he got up, during an afternoon resting time, and then again when my husband got home. So I was able to kind of do it that way. So to me, that's a really doable if you're just getting started. It's also really doable if you're still kind of working full time and you're trying to get this going. 20 hours a week, you can totally do that on top of your current job. I know it sounds crazy, but you can. I've done it. Do you see my little buddy back there? It's goofy. I'm puppy watching. So that's per week. Okay, then I want you to look at per month. So we've totaled up our amount average per day, our total amount per week, and now I want to add all those hours up and do per month. So for me, if it's an average of 20 hours a week, then my monthly amount is going to be 80 hours a month, okay? Now, that's where you put that. On the bottom, now at the bottom it says ideal monthly hours and income. So now I want you to take your ideal amount of hours per month. Mine was 80 total, right? 20, 40, 60, 80, because there's 4 weeks in a month. And then how much money total do I need to be making? How much money? So remember I said before I was making, I think I was making 60K, but after taxes it was literally exactly 1,600 first paycheck, 1,600 second paycheck, because of all the taxes and shit I had to pay that came out of it. So, and then out of the 1,600, one of the paychecks was going toward, almost all of it was going towards my son's daycare bill, and the rest of it was going towards extra food we needed because I needed help prepping food because I was never home, and so we had to pay extra for groceries and stuff, and for extra for someone to help prep our meals, so that actually cost quite a bit more. And then on top of it, I also had to pay for gas and car stuff. So honestly, one of my whole paychecks was almost completely gone. And so when I looked at, well, how much do I really need to be able to make this work? If I pull my kid out of daycare and I don't have all these extra expenses, I don't need clothes, I don't need to drive to and from the airport, all this other, pay for all this extra stuff. And it ended up being like under $2,000, so maybe like $1,600 to $1,800 a month that I actually really needed to still be making. And yeah, and again, it was just so different. Like I didn't need a cleaning lady, and this is just the starting point, right? So eventually, my next step was, okay, let me make more, so then I can have a cleaning lady. And so if we do $1,600 per month is my goal, and I only want to be working 80 hours per month, then how much per hour is that? It's $20 an hour, okay? $20 an hour. Now I want you to go over here to that's on the top right is where you're going to put that. That's how much you want and need to earn per hour or per month. You can put both in there. You can be $20 an hour, aka $1,600 a month. And the cool part of when you do this is because you might have clients that are like, well, I can only afford 15, and you're just starting, and you're like, oh, but I really need 20. It's fine. You can take the 15 an hour if you really want to, and then the next client you could be like, okay, well, I charge 30, and then you know what I mean? Like you can kind of balance it out. If that makes sense, because you can do whatever you want because it's your own thing. I know this is a shocker. It's not. You're not an employee. You literally could do what you want. And then I want you to think too, the next chunk is, what other business expenses are you going to have? This is really important because there's stuff like accounting software that you need to be able to bill clients and to be able to accept payments. That, for example, is free for the first 3 clients, so you don't need to worry about it, but eventually it's going to be $20 a month. Do you need a subscription to Microsoft Office? That's about $10 a month. What else? Do you need to be putting away in savings money for a new computer because you probably need one in 6 months? How much? Maybe $100 a month. So then it's not going to be enough for a new computer, a new Mac. So maybe $200 a month. Whatever those extra business expenses are that you think you're going to have. If you know that you're going to need at least some childcare to meet those hours, put that into a business expense as well. I think legally you can only write off some of it. Actually, no, you can write off all of it, but it's not a bit. It's like a family expense in terms of taxes. But to me, that was my first business expense for me because it was so obvious. If I had childcare, I could work more and make more money. Duh. So once I reached my max capacity I could do when he was home, then I started enrolling him just part-time, built up from there, and then I enrolled him back full-time, and then built up from there. So I did it slowly. Okay, so once you add those extra expenses, that's going to make your total amount per month that you need to earn go up a bit. Mine went up by like $200. So from $1,600, it went up to $1,800. Just be realistic. Don't just try to cut everything out, okay? Most stuff you can, but not everything. Maybe like your clothing allowance. Okay, well, I don't need new work clothes all the time, so I only need $50 a month now instead of $200, okay? Extra expenses. So once we add those extra expenses, my total amount per month went to $1,800. And when I divided that by how many hours per month I wanted to work, which was 80, I got around $23 per hour. So now I know how much I need to charge to be able to make this dream life for myself in order to be able to, whatever, replace part of that income or do those things that you wanted to do that you outlined on day 1. So then the last box. Are you guys getting excited? I hope so. I hope you're seeing that this is possible because it is. $23 an hour is the entry level, like low end for a virtual assistant. Okay? So just wrap your mind around that. Whatever crap you've been earning somewhere else, if you get trained as a virtual assistant and start to pursue that, the minimum amount that you would be earning is between $20 and $25 an hour. Okay? So the ideal amount of clients that you need is our last box. And this is really just to think about it. So start to just think about it. So if you found a client for just 5 hours a week, you would only need 2 of those. So all you have to do to make this happen is find 2 clients who can pay you 5 hours a week, $23 an hour. Totally possible. Or maybe you just want 1 client. You're like, I don't want to deal with more people, so I need 1 client. That's going to be a little bit harder when you're first starting out, but it's much easier if you just break it out. Be like, oh, I just need 1 client for 10 hours a week and another client for another 10 hours a week. Wow, that's not bad. So just kind of start to plan that out. If you need 1 or 2 or what you want to be doing. Maybe you don't care and you're like, I'll take 6 clients each, just a few hours. But just make space for yourself for this because sometimes once you start to get the ball rolling on this, Like, as girl I was meeting with this week was telling me, she's like, I have so many people who want to hire me now. They're not paying her enough, and so she's getting overwhelmed and super swamped. So you need to know, how many clients can I ideally really manage, and how much do I need to be charging so that this feels good. We don't want you stressed and overwhelmed and trying to be everything to everybody and do all the hours and all the things. We want you to be feeling really good every day that you're working, okay? And that you feel organized and calm. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over, we're going to bridge the gap a little bit more. So now you saw, here's my dream day. What do I need to get there? How much money do I need to make it happen? Now that we're going to talk about, what do I need to know to make this happen? Where do I have some holes in my education or holes in my expertise? I've been working in customer service for the last 4 years, and now you want to shift into something else. What exactly is that something else? And what exactly do you need to do to shift over? And I'm going to give you some resources and some help. And we're going to talk about things that you have to have in order to get home-based gigs, the 2 things you must have in order to get home-based gigs. And then we're going to do some research in, okay, well, the skills that you already have right now, customer service is skills. You can actually work from home doing customer service. There's tons of jobs. How much can you charge for that now just to get started? So maybe you don't want to do customer service forever, but where can we get started? Okay, so that's what we're doing tomorrow. I'm not going to give away anymore. I'll see you then.